Okay, so I completed my project analysis and I need to keep in mind these different points that I was looking at when I go on to do my product analysis, because each part of the project needs to flow through and go from one to the next. So we're doing a fish bite alarm. I've got two choices. I might have a fish bite alarm. No. Or else I can do some research into fish bite alarms. So I went on to Amazon, typed in fish bite alarm, came up with a whole stack and went through them looking at to do with cost, to do with their functions. Very briefly, didn't spend long on it, about 5 minutes, and then selected this one. I've then done a print screen, put the main image here with the details that they're using to sell the alarm, and then put the product description here. Must admit, a lot of the information here isn't completely relevant, but we do have a cost, we do have volume control and stuff like that. So there is information there that I can say, and this is what I'm basing my analysis on. I've got the URL here. It doesn't matter where you get the information from, but you must include the URL. And then I've made the statement. I found this fish alarm on Amazon, read through the description to see what features I would consider including in my design. And that leads on to my product analysis. So I started with price. Now, as I said, I looked at different alarms before I selected this one. So I can make the statement, the alarm is comparatively low cost in comparison to the other alarms I've been looking at, because I did look at the other ones. Cost of $9.97 includes the cost of manufacture of the case. That's not part of the project. We're only doing the circuit. So I can turn around and say, I think it's reasonable that I should say my alarm should be below £5. And what I've got here is an explanation of my thinking. That's sort of like the point evidence analysis you do in English. You've got to have in the specifications stuff that is to do with what they refer to as qualitative points. So the quality of your electronic circuit. Not so easy to do as the quantitative ones. So looking at the warranty, 12-month warranty, we're talking about the quality of a product then. And I've made the statement, yep, it is a legal requirement if you're selling the product. So when I do it, when I'm designing it and manufacturing it, I need to make sure it's good enough that it'll last for 12 months. Fish bite trigger. Now this particular alarm, you appear to wind the fish line around these two little cylinder post things. And then when it pulls, it'll cause this disc that it's mounted on to twist. So I am making the reasonable conclusion that means there's a micro switch in there. So that's what I've said. I've said how it works. In fact, I think it triggers a micro switch. And then my analysis comment is it's a simple, reliable component I could include for the trigger for my product. I've talked about volume control, and particularly here, this is an element I don't want to include. It increases the complexity of the project. And we don't have that time to do that in the NEA, and there is no reason that you shouldn't be able to say that. You know, it's a perfectly valid point to make, that if you make it too complex, you won't complete it on time, you'll lose marks. I've talked about the on-off switch, I've talked about the visual output, I've talked about the power supply. All of these things are mentioned in my project analysis, and I've carried them through into my product analysis. So if you're sitting thinking, what on earth am I supposed to analyse? Go back to your project analysis, look at the points you've made there, and that should be a good starting place. Once you've done that, you need to go on to select 3 or 4 bits of component research. So what you want to be doing is going on to the Rapid Online website. You could use others. I personally like Rapid. That's what I'm used to. It's where we buy our stuff. Type in the main title. So I've gone for buzzer. When I did it, I did a sort. So I did it based on price. What that did bring to the top were piezo transducers. Now these actually need an astable output to get them to make a noise. So what you do need to be aware of is if you choose a piezo transducer, then you've added another block to your diagram, same as if you chose a speaker. Now if you haven't got enough elements, that could help, but if you've got plenty already, it's just an extra complication you don't need. So I ended up choosing this low profile buzzer. 6 volts is what I'm interested in. I did a screen print of that, and I've put that here. I also did some research into decibel ranges, because if we're talking about a buzzer, the question is, how loud do you want it to be? So I looked at decibel ranges, and I've looking for a buzzer that will run from a power supply between 1.5 and 9 volts that will have a decibel output between 50 and 90 decibels. When I researched decibels, I found this range would be suitable. It's between 50, which is conversation, and 90, which is a bass drum. It would be loud enough for me to hear, but not so loud it would disturb other people fishing around me. I then found the buzzer below, Rapid Online, and I've done the screen print that shows the price, it shows the codes for the product. And then while I was on that screen, I went on to datasheets and selected technical information. That gave me the datasheet for this product. I'm not interested in the size. I'm not interested in its characteristic responses. What I am interested in is down here, because what I'm interested in is the voltage and the volume. And that's this column, rated voltage and output. So I've copied this table and I've put it into my document. Everything that I have done, I have then put the URL with it. So this is where I got the decibel chart from, this is where I got this screenshot from, this is where I got the table from. So that I can say, yes, I have fully annotated. I can't be accused of plagiarism in any way because I've credited where I got the information from. So I've gone through. That is one piece of component research. You would be expected to do 3 or 4 pieces of research like that. And that would then lead into your specification.